Fresh from the auction, what could possibly be wrong with this Buick Rainier? Let's find out. Let's get started. We have a local mysterious person who wants to remain anonymous. This is their 2006 Buick Rainier. They're starting to buy some cars from auction, and they're going to send them here and let us film them as is, fresh out of the auction. No one's tampered with it, no one's fixed anything. We're going to see how bad can some of these auction cars be. We're going to do several of these before we move to Las Cruces. This one is a 2006, like I said, a Buick Rainier with the 4.2 inline six, is one of the Atlas engines. You could have gotten these with the 5.3 Vortec, but this one's the Atlas engine, which is what I would prefer. This thing's already showing that it's a little rough. Let's take a look around this thing. Here's the front of the Rainier, and it has some fogged out headlights already, or at least they're starting to haze over. As you come around to this side, you can see it's missing a center cap for that wheel. It's also dented right above the left rear wheel. You can see on the wheel arch, it's caved in there. As we come around to the back, it doesn't look too bad. This Rainier CXL model. And on this side, we can see it's missing another wheel cap. We can see this window right here has a crack running through it, as does the windshield. It has a huge smiley face, Mrs. Wizard.
It's, that's scary.
So there's some cosmetic issues to take care of right off the bat. Let's go ahead and open the hood. I can't begin to tell you the number of times I've heard from customers that their car just broke one day. No warning, no issues, it just wouldn't start. While you can't predict when your car will break down, you can take steps to be ready when they do. How many times have you heard people asking for a jump start or help with a low tire? There's no space in modern cars to carry those old bulky cables and a small compressor. But there is space for this compact Wolfbox Megavolt 24 Air 4-in-1 tool. Yes, this can jumpstart your car. Really anything with a battery. It's easy to attach. Just start your car when the system is ready. No more waiting for help. You take control of the situation. Low tire, no need to find a gas station. This thing can fill the average flat tire in about 2 to 3 minutes. It also fills bikes and balls, so no need to have another air compressor at home. We had a low tire on a car hauler we used to get one of the cars to Las Cruces. This little guy saved the day and kept us on the road. The other two features had me sold on this for my daughters. First, it has a fast charge power bank. I know if they break down, they were able to charge their phone and to contact someone for help. No one wants to be on the side of the road with a dead cell phone. The other feature is the emergency light. Not all breakdowns happen during the day. Knowing they have a light to help them see what they're doing, or to make sure others are seeing them. Don't wait until your car breaks down. Plan today. Amazon Prime Day is almost here. Don't miss the biggest deals of the season. Enjoy huge discounts on Wolfbox products during Prime Day. Check out my links in the description below. Now back to the Rainier. So in that ad we just did, that Wolfbox Jumpstart box would actually be very handy in this situation because this has a severe battery drain on it. I'm going to go ahead and hook up the battery and you guys can hear for yourself what it's doing. The blower runs all the time. I'm going to go turn off the key and show you guys that even when you turn off the key and pull the key out, it won't stop. Still going. There's nothing powered up in this vehicle right now, but the blower is still going. This is the way this actually arrived. The auction house will actually deliver drivers that will bring you the vehicle once you buy it. They'll bring it to wherever your dealership is at. And it showed up and they said, oh, don't forget to disconnect the battery. And I was like, well, why would I have to do that? Because the blower runs all the time. So that's one of the things you find out when you buy an auction vehicle. Once you finally get it home or to your dealership or whatever you're taking it to, is when you really can start to find out what you've got. And now, unbeknownst to the buyer, this blower motor was running the whole time. They had unhooked the fuse under here. They had removed this fuse here, which is very hard to get out, but you can see they broke it. This is the blower motor fuse to kind of hide the problem at the auction. Our solution is to figure out what is really wrong with this thing. So I'll go ahead and unhook the battery so Mrs. Wizard can give you guys an interior review and we don't end up with a dead battery.
Okay, ladies and gents, I wish that fan was actually blowing a little bit now because it's a little stuffy in here, but that did say a little over 98,000 miles, 98,383 miles, I think is what it was. So, okay, so it's got a fair amount, not too high. Gauge cluster, really simple, very, very analog. The only thing digital down there was, well, where it would show up for that odometer. The dash is looking nice. Everything is looking really good and clean in here except for that windshield. Remember that windshield? Yeah, it's not looking so good. But everything is nice dove gray. Nothing is broken. Everything is looking really nice. Love the faux wood trim. That is classy. But very simple, easy to control. We do have dual climate control, which is a nice comfort added. Do have some charge spots. We do have our nice gear selector with more of our wood trim. Have a cup holder here and a cup holder back here. Center console. Oh, look, they've got the spot for CDs. Yes, the era of CDs. So, okay, it's clean. So far, everything is looking really nice. The seat does have perforated leather in the center and solid on the sides. Kind of a very small angled back headrest. Door card. We do have more of our wood trim with that wood trim again around that door release handle. Well, the back seat, one of those passengers is going to get whiplash if we have an accident. Not sure where that went, but they are missing one of the headrests, and the headliner is in good shape. It's not sagging, no marks. Back at our steering wheel, I like how we have the 4 posts, and each post has something else going on there. So your hand is dancing around the steering wheel if you're pushing all those buttons. So enough of this interior talk. Let's get this up in the air and see what it looks like on the underneath.
That's definitely an annoying problem because I had to hook up the battery, get it on the lift, unhook the battery, so while we're filming, the battery doesn't run down and go dead. So I've done the battery several times now, and that's going to cause a problem, which we'll talk about here in a minute. But let's take a look underneath this car. Here's our radiator with our transcooler lines, which is a common GM leak point. They are not leaking. 98,000 miles on this, and nothing's leaking from the radiator. I do see a little bit of seepage here on this little pan. Little belly pan. It's very likely, yeah, where they've been doing oil changes and they just get it all over the place. That's what's happened there. No active leak on the oil pan. Check out these brakes. They're about 60% remaining, but I can tell on the rotors, you can see right here, they're very rusty. This car's been sitting for a long time. CV boots are good. Strut is blown. Take a look at that, guys. That strut is coated in oil. It is a Bilstein, but unfortunately, it is leaking pretty heavily. So that's blown out. Check the other side. Brakes are about the same as the other side. CV boots are okay, but we can see this strut is just completely coated in oil and dirt like gunk. So that one's blown as well. So far we have a blower motor issue and 2 front struts. The engine oil pan is not leaking. The transmission pan is not leaking. If it hasn't had a service by now, it's definitely time. This is the time to do it. Our drive shaft is nice and tight, nothing loose there. We do have secondary air injection pump, and these can fail, especially if you get into high water. It can burn out the motor or get water in the system. It's kind of a bad place to put that, really. But this one appears to be working fine. Transfer case is not leaking anything. Our drive shaft, U-joints are in good shape. Everything's intact and stock, has not been hacked up on the mufflers. We do have in the back air suspension. That's not a coil spring or a leaf spring, it's an air bag. So I bet it rides pretty good. Shocks are not blown back here, the airbags are holding air. Brakes are about 60% remaining. Sway bar link is good. Same on the brakes here, shock is not blown. That airbag is definitely holding air and our sway bar link is good. Since it is fresh from the auction, we definitely want to check the spare, and it is full of air, and also the date codes on the tires for sure. These tires are not safe. They are from 41st week of 2015. They're 11 years old, and you can see all the little cracking. There's cracks all in the tread. Definitely needs a new set of tires.
Wizard, I don't think we've ever gotten a used car where we didn't need to put tires on it.
Yeah, it seems like we always have to buy a set of tires, don't we?
We do.
Well, this one's no exception. Let's get this thing on the ground. So what causes the blower motor to stay on like that all the time? And in the realms of 2003, 4, 5, 6 GM, it's usually the blower control module. It's not just a resistor. With the automatic climate control, it actually has computer electronics inside it and it resides up under the passenger side footwell area. I'll show you where it's at, and then I'll remove the old one. So you take out two 7mm screws right here, bolts, whatever you want to call them, and this little piece just pulls off. So right next to our blower motor, the blower motor is right here, this little circle shape. Right over here where this connector is, I'll actually unhook the connector. What I just disconnected from this box right here is our blower control module. I'll go ahead and remove that. So here's our old one. This connects to the blower motor itself. This is the module that's causing our trouble. So if you notice, I have the old one here, right here, and this is the new one. Those connectors don't look the same, do they? There's a reason for that. GM stopped making these old ones. They're so problematic. They're just discontinued. They're just like, we're done. We're not making any more. When you go to buy a new one, they do make ones that bolt right in. Everything works right, but you have to wire it in yourself. It even comes with instructions, some connectors for the wiring, and its own little pigtail. This plugs into the new module, this goes to the blower motor, and these goes to the 3 wires. I'll wire this in real quick, screw this back in, and our problem will be solved. All right, I got that back in, the new one's installed. Let's go ahead and turn on the key and see if the blower motor runs. So here comes the big test. I'm going to hook the battery back up. The blower motor should not be running now. Ha-ha! It's fixed. Let's turn on the key just to be sure. All right, no more blower motor running all the time and running the battery down. Problem solved, and it wasn't that hard. Let's get this thing back on the ground. So we solved the blower motor issue. I've worked on so many of these older GM models that I know when the blower motor was running all the time, I knew what it was, and it proved to be that exactly was what it was. But here's the situation. Since we know the battery has been disconnected, connected several times, that means any kind of OBD2 data is probably lost. So if it had a check engine light on or an evap code that comes on after a while, you won't know when it first shows up. The system's going to be fully wiped out. You're going to have to get everything back together, fixed, and drive it for a while and see if the check engine light comes on. And hopefully it won't. But it needs 2 front struts. We've solved the blower motor issue. It doesn't need a whole lot, but there is some cosmetics. It needs this glass here taken care of. It's got a crack. Also, that windshield is cracked really bad, like a giant smiley face. But all in all, really, this person didn't do too bad on their buy. They're still going to probably have $1,500 in repairs between struts, blower motor, windshield, all those things. I'm not sure where they bought this for, but hopefully they can make a profit. That's the thing when you're selling cars, is that when you buy something at auction, you have to really pick and choose. You have to fix all the safety items and all the things to make it run right. But there are some things you just have to let go because you can't restore every single car. Or you'll go broke. You'll literally go bankrupt. Because in a $5,000 car, you'll have 10 into it. How can you ever make any money that way? So we have a few more of these we're going to do before we move to Las Cruces. It's kind of fresh from the auction series we're doing. How did they do? This one's not too bad with a few issues. This is a good car. And with only 98,000 miles, I think it's a score. This is the same body style as the GMC Envoy, also the Trailblazer. This is the Rainier. And Buick had one as well. I think it was the Bravada or something like that. These all share the same chassis, share a lot of the same parts. It has the same engine, same setups, just different nameplates and different interior styling. But they are really a pretty good vehicle. They're fairly reliable. They're not a Toyota or anything, but the parts are cheap. Parts are plentiful. I was able to have that blower motor control module here in 10 minutes. It was that fast. It didn't take too long to get it replaced either, and then we'll see what this person wants to do with struts and windshield and all that. We don't do windshields anyways, but definitely wanted to get a video out to you guys to show you, and we're going to have a few more like this, where a vehicle comes fresh from auction, you haven't been allowed to drive it or really take a deep look into it. And I remember in my days when I had a dealership, I used to sell cars, I don't anymore. When cars would show up from the auction, it was like opening Christmas presents. You're like, oh, what, did I get a good one? Or did I get a bad one? Or it was always kind of exciting. But sometimes you got bit and you're like, oh crap, this is gonna cost way more to fix than the whole car is worth. You kind of have to know what you're looking at and what you're doing in that realm, I guess. But definitely make sure you guys check out the videos coming out soon. We're gonna have more of this and more of the stop spending $76,000. If you're curious what kind of tools we're using to work on this Rainier, check out our Amazon affiliates link in the description below. The tools we use every day in the shop, tried and true, is listed for sale there, and we get a small cut and really appreciate it. And before you go, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, because when we get to Las Cruces, you're going to still see more YouTube videos and more repairs happening. Thanks for watching.